This week on It Would Seem As Though, we talk about dreams and nightmares and queer icons and the beginning of Pride season. And of course, as usual, hashtag tangents are topics.
It would seem as though.
Bam, bam. It would indeed seem as though you have found us somehow, amazingly enough, on your podcast,
on your eyes,
on your iPod. No. Well, maybe you listen to it. Maybe you're old like me and still have an iPod.
I know, girl.
I have no other Apple products. Like I don't have an iPhone.
No.
I don't have a Mac.
MacBook,
No, I don't know, and I don't know how any of that stuff works.
No, but you have an iPod.
But I have an iPod.
Girl.
Well, I didn't originally have an iPod when I had my first music player thingy. Like, and I had was it
like
Zune?
Zune. I forgot about that.
Zune. Yeah, I went for the bargain basement
you did.
music players, and it worked fine for a minute. It was cute.
One whole minute. Yeah. Go to
And then I bought a new iPod, and then someone smashed the window of my car and stole it.
Disrespectful.
I know. $500 worth of damage for a goddamn iPod.
I know.
Anyway, welcome to It Would Seem As Though, the podcast where we talk about anything, everything, and nothing.
And mostly nothing.
Why? Because tangents are topics.
Tangents are topics. I've been saying that all week at my house,
Same,
by the way.
same.
Hashtag tangents
I'm
are
Vesta.
topics. And I'm your worst nightmare once again. But I'm Annika, also known as,
AKA your worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny you say your worst nightmare since our topic today
Oh my God.
is dreams and nightmares.
Oh my God, yes.
But we can't start there. Why? Because tangents are topics. So I have other things I have to talk about. I heard the coolest thing this morning. Mm-hmm. Remember how last week we were talking about trans icon legend Laverne Cox?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you know that Laverne Cox now has her own Barbie?
Yes.
And it's not some janky offshoot, little, bargain basement, make your own doll. No, it's Mattel. Mm-hmm. And it's being sold in Target, in Walmart, on Amazon.
Fuck it up, Laverne.
And so, of course, when I found that out this morning, I was all, yes, please.
Yeah.
Bought myself the Laverne Cox doll.
I love that.
And I love that it's not just a Barbie face with Laverne Cox's hair
thank
or
God.
costume. I mean, they did try to replicate. I think they were confused, like, how do we do a brown-skinned girl with blonde hair and make her still look like a black girl, but I don't know. Because she looks a little, I don't know, she
Caucasian?
a little Caucasian.
From Caucasus.
From the Caucasus.
From the Caucasus Mountains.
Right. But I don't care. I spent my $40, bought a Laverne Cox doll.
girl.
But here's the thing. Now and people who know me well know, that for quite a while, I was collecting Barbies. And I just had all the Barbies in all the land. And then I stopped because I realized as a grown person that I was never going to be able to really capture that stuff from my childhood that I didn't get to do. So I was like, therapy.
Sure.
And then I kind of lost interest. Well, and I've bit by bit kind of given away most of my Barbies. And I still have some. But when I found this doll this morning, I was like, oh, queer icon Barbie, gotta have it.
Right?
Well, as I'm scrolling, it's like Rosa Parks Barbie.
Yeah.
Ella Fitzgerald Barbie.
Well, there are a lot, yeah.
Oh my God, and I just forgot her name. It's one of the athletes from the Olympics. Anyway, but I was like, I need all these famous women, especially famous black women, because as you know, almost all of my Barbie collection were black.
Yes.
Because I always found them to be much more beautiful than their pasty
Even though,
white
like you were saying, it was
companions.
typically just like the same Barbie face, just in a brown color.
Yes.
They looked like they were from the Caucasus Mountains, but...
and one of the Barbies I have, there's only one. They made one that was actually called Black Barbie.
I love that.
And she came with a pick, and it was like, she had a little afro.
Okay. Well,
her I will never part with.
Keeping it
because
natural.
she's actually called just Black Barbie.
Right.
And then after, a year of that, they were like, we should maybe just create a Barbie who happens to be black and not call her Black Barbie.
Yeah, why
so
not?
they called her Christy.
So let's just not call her Barbie at all.
And so after decades, they were like, it's okay, we can have Barbies of different
Oh my God, we can.
ethnicities.
Who knew?
I guess.
It's funny because your thing of, I can't relive that childhood you know, that pleasure of being a kid and getting a toy or whatever. My partner and I are very different because we are the people who will like go to Target or whatever, and as we're leaving, we'll see those little packages that are like, oh, a surprise little horror keychain or a surprise little toy or whatever the F it is. And they're stupid. All the time they're stupid. But we will buy them and be like, what'd you get? Who'd you get? Because I never got that shit as a child. You know what I mean? Like frivolous little dumb shit. So I look at it differently because my childhood was so shitty. And this will bleed into our dreams and nightmares conversation. I like to do things I never got to do. So I don't care how juvenile it is or how childish. I want to do it, right? Or I will, whatever, like, buy a dumb little toy because I wanted it, right? Because, like, I never got it
same.
before. Yeah.
Same.
You know?
And I know for me, the whole Barbie thing started because as a child, that's all I wanted.
Sure.
I wanted every Barbie in all the land.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a few.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point I did get a few Barbies, but we were always dead poor.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever. And then at one point, apparently when I was allegedly too old for Barbies, my Barbies all disappeared.
Oh my god, we have that same story.
You know, and it's like my Barbie camper.
Uh-huh.
Maybe that's why I'm terrified of camping. My camper just disappeared
girl.
one day. We'll blame it on that.
Yeah, how miserable, because
it was like a van, and the whole side of it collapsed out to it. Yes.
Well, and here's the reason why I know. It's because my entire Barbie collection growing up came from you.
Yes.
Rarely did anyone else buy me anything that was Barbie related. But much like you, by the same woman, my shit just one day was gone when I was too old. And, like, not just that, because I had a collection of, like, Mr. Potato Heads and, like, small ones and big ones and, like, the chicken nuggets from McDonald's. I just had, like, a bunch of random things. Most of them were hand-me-downs, right? But one day I remember just coming home or going to, like, find them, and they were gone. Thanks a lot, Grandma. But, like, yeah, every single one of them. Just got rid of them. Yeah. And I was like, what? Because that was, what? How dare you? And she...
Yeah.
Same thing with, like, my Beanie Babies, though. She did the same thing. My Pokemon card, she did the same thing. She just got rid of everything once I was like...
What, she's going to cleaning jag
bitch,
and be like...
I don't know.
This child's too old for toys.
When she just decided, and it would be at random times, because like different time periods I'd be into different things, right? But when she decided that I didn't need it anymore, I'm like, really? Pack rat.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, and the thing for me is that I got my Barbies in the 70s.
Oh, right.
And so I had, groovy hair Ken who had stick-on mustaches. And like sideburns, so he looked like he had those big old lamb chop or mutton chop sideburns, and
he had lamb chop.
He had the little puppet stuck to his head.
Oh, we don't have the rights to that. I'm so sorry.
I didn't hear a word you said, so it doesn't matter.
Perfect.
Right? It doesn't make any difference. So that was kind of that, but that also leads me into the other thing that today is June 1, which means June
Happy
Pride Month.
Pride Month. Yep.
Right. All the stores for the next month are going to gay it up so they can get your gay money.
And then later
gay
they'll donate money to anti-gay legislation.
Right. Right. But for the month of June, they're all about it. They're all about the queers. They're all about...
Yes. And let me tell you something. I, what is it, like... LGBT capitalism or whatever, queer capitalism, whatever it is never, like, super into it. I'm also just not a huge fan of, like, the rainbow on things. It's not, like, my gig.
What?
I know, right? But I do have a friend, her name is Megan, and her daughter is a trans girl, and she said she went to Target and saw all the queer stuff, and her daughter was very excited, obviously, to see something that, like, represented her.
Sure.
And... so my friend Megan was like, I understand, like, she understands, the politics behind it. It's not like she's like, oh my god, look at Target doing the greatest. But it made her daughter feel seen and accepted and appreciated. So she was like, I'm about to buy her way too many things right now, but, like, why not? And, like, I get it. As long as we understand the implications of what's happening and that they're corporations, they're not...
Right. Well, you can also, it's pretty easy now these days to look behind the corporations and see where they're spending their money.
Exactly.
So if there are corporations that... throughout the year, are not supporting anti-LGBTQIA plus legislature, and they're not supporting, the politicians who are trying to just keep fucking things up.
Yep.
Then it's like, okay, well, at least you are walking the walk.
And I also think that if they have things in their store, in their business, in their company, whatever it is, that is already equality or equitable for people, I think that's important. If it's year-round, like, I don't want to go, like, patronize the company if they only show, like, a rainbow or two dudes in June. I'm going to be all, that's juvenile and sophomoric. You know what I mean? That's not even a good ploy. Like, everyone can see through it. But Anyway, that's my point. My whole thing was, we get it, understand where it comes from, but sometimes that's what makes children feel accepted.
Well, sure. For me, June tends to be a little bit crazy because, as someone who performed for many, many years, I've been in Pride many years. I emceed the parade many times, and this year I'm very excited because I'm going to be back emceeing the parade with Maria Peters Lake, and we're going to be downtown somewhere, which I know we talked about. But it's like, so there's that. This Sunday is the All Ages show, which is always fun because it's the one day a year that we do a show at Darcel's where people of all ages can come because they suspend their liquor license for one day.
How cute.
Yeah, and then kids come, and the last several, and then we didn't do it the last 2 years, obviously, because of COVID. But the last several times it's been so packed that people are lined up down the block to get in. And I love that. So the kids can come and see drag queens, and the kids can come and be drag queens, wherever they want to be. And I love that. Snap. So I'll be performing. I did my hair last night. My MO, as you know, is last minute everything. No. So it's like I'm on my way to the show picking out what song I'm going to do. I'm, just grabbing up a bunch of shit, throwing something. I was like, something will work. I don't know.
It's fine.
Whatever. I not only did my hair, and it's quite stunning, I picked out my clothes. And now, of course, you can't just take music to the venue because everybody wants it emailed to them because it's all a whole new world. You can't show up with your records in your bag.
Exactly.
Not even in their sleeves, so they sound like someone's making popcorn.
I want you to know that doesn't even make a lick of fucking sense to me. I know what a record is, but I just thought of carrying them in your bag and without a sleeve.
Right, listen,
it's so archaic.
It is. Well, when I first started doing shows, everybody brought their music either on cassette or on records. And most people, it was on records.
It's so interesting.
And so you would carry, a bag that was like the size of what most people carry now for like a computer bag. Well, even not now because most people have smaller computers. Yeah. But you know what I mean. Yeah. So you'd have that size bag, and most of us would have our record in the case, in the sleeve, the whole thing, so that it didn't get scratched. But you're still trusting someone else to take your record, play the right track, play the right side. Because if you don't have a record and you've never seen a record, they have two sides, each with a number of tracks.
Yep.
So you have to be like, side B, track 3. And what if they play side A, track 3? That's not your song. Now, I can't tell you how many times there were queens on the stage waving at the wrong song.
Oh my God.
And then there were those of us who learned the entire album just in case.
Yeah, they
and it was like, whatever. Song. This isn't the song I wanted to do, but I'm going to do it.
This is a drum solo, but you're just fucking drumming on stage. I love it. That's it. You know what I realized? Because with a lot of classes that I take, I learn about history of the world and development and how awful people are. But what I realized about a lot of situations is people are very trusting. I mean, not a lot of people. I mean, when Europeans showed up places, it's not like everyone was like, yes, please take my land and my people and my resources. But I realized history before there was computers or internet or phone or whatever, you just kind of had to trust. You know what I mean? Just I'm going to hope this gets there. I'm going to hope this person is actually credentialed or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? I feel like you just had to trust that someone else was going to do it. And that's you have a whole ass record. That's my point. And this is minor. You have a whole ass vinyl record that could be ruined in multiple ways. You're trusting somebody in the dark to put it on the thing and find the right track and not fuck up your record. And I'm just like, girl, exactly. I don't want people to look at my house because then they know where it's at. Do you know what I mean? I don't trust a single motherfucking person. I don't want people around my people or my animals. I'm very neurotic, but you know what I mean?
Well, and two of the girls that I perform with often.
Yeah.
I swear to God, they would pull their record maybe out from underneath their couch where their cat had been sleeping on it. And when they would put it on... And again, if you have to have a record, and anybody who's even close to my age knows this is true. You put that needle on that record that is kind of not so deeply scratched that it'll skip, but enough that you get back. It's all
how cute.
What is it? Girl, we would always joke, it's is someone making popcorn? What does that
sound?
Those
are the goblins. Girl.
What is it? The goblins in the record, right? Chatting. So, I mean, shout out Raven. She's still doing it because, not records anymore. No, not with records. But then went to cassettes, and you would cue it up and then pop it out and put your finger or a pencil in and turn it back half a turn to get back to the beginning of the song. All the shit we went through. And then CDs, much easier.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's all digital.
Digital.
So now, again, you are still trusting that when you sent that digital music, that they got it.
I know.
Here's a little scandal, though. When I worked at a certain club that is still in existence, that is legendary, every once in a while I would do a song, and the person who was running the sound would be like, God, I've been looking for that song, so I just burned a copy of yours. Wait, what?
Yeah.
So you stole a copy of my music?
Okay.
I realize it's not, like, I didn't sing it, I didn't copyright it, I didn't get any money off it. But it's like, I went to all the trouble of finding that song.
Yeah, how dare you.
And now you're just like, oh yeah, I burned a copy of your CD, girl.
Oh, can I see that copy? Snap.
I remember one time, oh God, this is so funny. I'm backstage at my show, and I just finished doing a song that I used to do a lot. It's called It Should Have Been Me. Mm-hmm. Love that song, but it was super hard to find. And this queen comes up to me, queen who I've known for 10, 15 minutes maybe, and she's all, oh my God, girl, I love that song. Could I have a copy of it? And I was like, no. And she was like, what? I go, no, why would I give you a copy of a song that I do kind of on the regular?
Yeah.
And that is rare. It's not like it's a song that everybody's doing. It's not a Whitney Houston ballad that everybody's got, their hands on. And she was like, God, you're rude. And I was like, I'm not rude. No. This is my show. This is my gig that I'm doing. Why would I give away, no. No,
bitch, why you want it?
You go scour the record store, see if you can find it.
Yeah, how?
Stupid bitch. Yeah.
I love that.
But we got all kinds of fun things coming up in June. Get out, get your pride on. You don't have to wear a rainbow, as Annika said. You don't, rainbows are. I don't think I do have my tie-dye shirts that are kind of rainbow.
Sure,
different. My sweatshirts, but they're not that rainbow.
Yeah. And I get it, girl. Pride it up. It's just not my jam, girl. You won't ever catch me in that much color. You high.
So maybe for Pride, your rainbow could be black and off black and gray.
Maybe white. I'll wear pastel
white.
black.
You'll have like one little stripe of white in the middle.
Yeah, there you go. Here it is. Yeah, I know.
Maybe a nice aubergine to give it just a little less black.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Perhaps.
But probably not.
I was just watching Lawrence Chaney, who won the second season of Drag UK and Drag Race UK. And she was talking about the color of something being aubergine. And Heidi in Closet, who I adore, was like, aubergine, what is that? And she goes, it's eggplant. She goes, why don't you just call it eggplant? Because, well, it's what we call it in the UK. We call it aubergine. And she's like, that's not even a thing. You made that up. And it's like, no.
I love her.
It is.
That's so funny.
Heidi. I love her.
Me too.
Are you watching the new All Stars All Winner season?
I sure am.
On Paramount Plus.
I'm obsessed. And I was just, because we watch it as it comes out, and I was telling my partner, I'm about it. Like, this is probably my favorite season, obviously. And there isn't a queen that I don't like.
No.
You know what I mean? Not a single one. And the ones that I never used to like Trinity, after her season, when she went to All Stars the first time, about her, I thought she was great. She changed your attitude. But there's, like, anyone who I ever felt like, in this season, there are no flaws.
I love them all.
I'm about
I know.
all. And I had never watched the Vivian, and I'm obsessed with the Vivian. She kind of looks alien.
Well, you should watch
UK.
First season of UK.
Okay, maybe I will.
Well, because she was brilliant on that season, and obviously she won. And yes, she does look alien because she's had quite a bit of work done, and she's relatively young.
And when I look at all those bitches, though, on the newest All Stars, I'm like, which one of you hasn't had Jinx?
Jinx has had hair transplants and Botox in her forehead. I would imagine because that forehead doesn't move.
No. But
it is glassy smooth.
Look at everyone else's face compared.
Oh, I know. The one I think that is the most obvious is Shea Coulee. Because if you look at her first season, she had scarring on her face, like acne scarring.
Yeah,
and then she also had janky teeth and whatever. She now has gorgeous teeth.
Like every
And her skin, I swear to God, looks like it has lights shining from it all the time. Her cheeks are pumped. I do have to tell you that I love Monet. I just am kind of underwhelmed with, like, what she brings to the stage sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, why? Porque you do that, though? You know what I mean? There's, like...
Right.
But, okay, there's other things you could have done.
But what I love about Monet is what you see body-wise is all her. No padding.
So you love her body.
Big old... Yes.
So you only love her for her body is what I'm hearing. So what I'm hearing is that you're body shaming.
I'm not body shaming. I'm body worshiping.
You're racist.
No. I love her. No, I think she's hilarious. I listen to her podcast.
I think she's great.
I love her with Bob when they do Sibling Rivalry. She's hilarious. And, All right, listen. So, we haven't even gotten to our topic yet, but we do have to
Shocking.
take our first break.
Oh my God, bye.
I know, bye. So today, our topic that we're actually going to talk about, or that we're allegedly going to talk about,
we've been talking, girl.
I know. We've been talking for 20 minutes and we haven't even approached stuff. We did mention the topic, I suppose, so that's something. We're going to talk about dreams and nightmares. Dun, 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 dun.
Boop, boop, boop. Yep.
One of the things I want to share with you, so when I was, because I'm going to talk to you about like my first reoccurring nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Okay, same.
Yeah. So my first reoccurring nightmare, I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I was less than 10.
Okay.
And at that time in the world, there was an awful lot of talk about restricting the sizes of families because of overpopulation. Mm-hmm. And there was a whole lot said about in China how they had already done that. They had already restricted how many children you can have, right? And so we would hear it just periodically on the news that they're trying to get together some legislature to say, again, to legislate women's bodies and say, you can't do this or you can't do that. You can't have that many children. Although, I mean, I don't think it's a terrible idea to not have 25 children.
Great.
But
since you're the fourth of six.
Adopt some children.
Right.
Right. But since I'm the fourth of six, and as a young person didn't really quite know how to process, they're going to say you can't have more than 2 kids.
Totally.
Well, so I started having this nightmare where this official person came to our house, and my youngest brother was very little because he's obviously the youngest, duh. Anyway,
Stupid.
But he was still pretty little at the time.
Yeah.
And this person came and was like, well, you can't have this many children. You have to choose which one. You have to get rid of at least one of them.
God, Sophie's choice, girl.
Sophie's choice. But it wasn't like, we're going to take him to a home that doesn't have any family. Yeah. You have to kill them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? And I remember them, like, coming and taking the baby out of my mother's arms in my nightmare.
God.
And I had that dream or nightmare or whatever you want to call it multiple times.
That's crazy.
And I was like,
that's horrifying.
This is right. Well, and then I don't remember. I think it's just that at some point I understood what that really meant. That they were just like, they're not going to like do it retroactively. They're not going to come and take your babies.
Oh, you're born. Gonna abort you at 10.
Well, it's not Montana where you can abort them until they're up to 6 years old. So.
Yeah, that's insane. My first recurring nightmare was nowhere near that severe or scary, but it scared the
Wasn't your first recurring nightmare your birth parents?
Ooh, snaps for you. Winner, winner.
Sorry.
That was like a waking nightmare. That was a living nightmare.
Right, different.
Different. So when I went night-night at night, shocking, I went night-night at night, I had this dream of like a monster essentially. But I was always at somebody's house that was just like a newer, everything was taupe, bright, sunshiny day, but there was some, I don't remember.
Did you say everything was taupe?
Taupe in the house.
That's
like
a nightmare.
Exactly, but like a new box house, you know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
Like one that's just thrown up real quick. And there's like no furniture, but it's bright, it's middle of the day, it's fine. But walking down the hallway to the back bedroom on the left, and for some reason, or on the right, it was always the same bedroom, and it was like those accordion closet doors that would open.
Okay.
And they would open, and there'd be this monster, and the monster... My partner still makes fun of me for it today, but it was part wolf, part man, and part chicken. So his name... His name, logically, was Wolfman Chicken. And so, to this day, Aster will say things to me like, ooh, it's Wolfman Chicken in there, it's gonna get ya. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, how dare you? This was like my very first trauma.
Wolfman Chicken.
Yeah, Wolfman Chicken was my Freddy Krueger. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Well, the talons.
Girl.
Wait, which part was chicken?
I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I remember Wolfhead.
It kind of matters.
Listen. I just know that his name was Wolfman Chicken. I can't tell you what part was actually chicken because he had a wolf head and a man body. So I'm like, where'd the chicken part come? Who knows? Maybe, girl. I can barely remember, but it was something that I dreamt often, and honestly, from the age of like 3 on, I was. Right, horrified.
I'm not sure which part of that is more horrifying. You're in a taupe house.
Everything was, but like beige, like the carpet's beige.
Oh no, I get what taupe
all,
is.
Eggshell and ugly, all over. It's all
well,
just
and
like
then
neutral.
Later, did you feel you were living your nightmare when you went back to your birth parents' home and there was no furniture? You're like, where the hell's Wolfman Chicken? He's gonna come out that closet.
Listen, I learned a little bit more about the world by that point, and it said what repossession was.
Oh,
you know
sure,
I mean?
sure.
And it wasn't when a demon took your body over again. I knew that wasn't repossession. So
it's when they took your furniture.
Take
for
your furniture,
non-payment.
bitch. They take your furniture. They take your house. You know. But yeah. So I think that's weird. That was my nightmare, right? Because again, my childhood was an ugly existence, and so to have something where I'm so scared of this man beast.
Chicken.
Yeah, and Wolfman Chicken. Always in the middle of the day, too. It wasn't like at night and he was coming to creep up on me. It was the middle of the day and he just opened the closet door and I was like, oh no.
Well, it's funny because, we're, and I know we talked about this before, that the kids and I are reading the Percy Jackson series. And they keep coming across all these different creatures that are like part dog, part, whatever. It's like, how many different combinations did they have? There was like the woman.
Greeks were crazy.
The Greeks were crazy.
Okay, because I'm also reading Percy Jackson. I am now on book 4. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm speeding through because they're
you are.
They're written for children, right? So
yeah. Unfortunately, I can read one chapter every other night because I read every other night and we read.
Oh my god, how annoying! Because I love it because I can't stop reading it. But what I do enjoy so much is that they use the true form of things, right? So, like, when people think of sirens, like, oh, a mermaid, right? But sirens in, like, traditional Greek mythology were part bird, right? They were part birds that would also sing you to crash into their island, whatever. But I like that they're using that and making it more traditional in the terms of mythology than whatever Hollywood has ever made,
Right.
But I love the Percy Jackson series. I'm obsessed with it. And I feel like it's a lot like Harry Potter. And, like, it's growing, because book 4, he's now 14 or whatever.
Sure.
It's growing with the reader, which I think is really cool. It's pretty... Some parts are really intense, too. There's, like, death.
Oh, lots of it.
Yeah. And I was like, damn, okay. But, yeah, it's really interesting. But
yeah, for me, it's like the hybrid creature, sort of, that are mostly monsters. Not all. I mean, but mostly. Because in this book, in 4, there's the one who's the woman with serpent, like her lower half are 2 like serpent trunks.
Oh, okay, yep.
Yeah,
like the snake women.
Yes.
And then there's
then the one who's the dragon who has like animal heads coming out of her waist.
Yeah.
And a million snake things. I was
the cheerleaders in the very beginning, though.
The Impusa.
Yeah, are like ghost women with like a donkey leg and like a bronze
leg.
Yeah,
right.
So weird, right? The Greeks were fucking weird. But let me tell you, if you're ever going to read or learn anything about mythology, start with Greek mythology because it's pretty straightforward.
Well, yeah.
It's one of the easier mythologies to understand. Anyway.
So, one of the things I was going to say, I know I've always had kind of a weird thing with my dreams that I always have, like, celebrity guests in my dreams. And I have since I was little. The first one I remember was, I was in elementary school. 4th grade, probably. Okay. And Sonny and Cher made an appearance in my dream, as they would.
Yeah.
I did not have the money to pay them, so they didn't stay. But all of my life, to this day, I will have some random... The other night, I had a dream, honest to God, where I was being kidnapped. Kidnapped is the wrong word, but trying to be kind of gathered up to be taken into this cult.
No thanks.
And it's like, first of all, don't nobody want me in their cult. I'd ask way too many questions. I would be like, no, I'm sorry, this is bullshit.
No!
I'm sorry, you did what? I'm supposed to give you my money? But what are you going to do with it? You're turning it over to God. What's God going to do with it?
Oh my God.
They would be like, get this bitch out of my cult. But you will never guess who was part of the group.
Oh my God, who?
Jennifer Lewis.
Of course she was. Why wouldn't she be?
Because, she's done filming Blackish. Because it is done. They filmed, whatever. And so she's all, I guess I'll go join a cult and collect up this bitch. Honest to God, it has been my entire life that it's just random. And it's always random people. It's not like funny. I'm dreaming of only my favorite celebrities. No, it's always people like, I love Jennifer Lewis.
Yeah.
I read her book, and if you haven't, read it. I think it's called Black Mother of Hollywood.
Okay.
It's fantastic. What I love about her book, and yes, I'm tangent, is that she is so completely full of herself in such a way that you're like, this bitch knows who she is, knows what she wants, she knows how amazing she is, and she ain't afraid to talk about it. No. I love that. Because, so many other people are like, oh, I thought I had talent, and I was going to try to be somebody, and she was all, bitch, I could sing, I could dance, I could act, I had it all, I had it all, and now, some other people had to recognize it.
Yeah, I love that.
But for my whole life, celebrity guests in my dream.
Funny.
So much so that I had a dream one night Hilarious. By the way, it also had a soundtrack.
Oh, God, okay. Was it good?
Yes, it was good. And it even had, literally, I swear to God, I'm not making this up, because I woke up laughing so hard. It had end credits.
No.
Like a fucking movie.
I can't with you.
I know. It's so stupid.
But main character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Well, who aren't you always the main character of your dream?
I mean, I guess so. Here's the thing. I don't really have a lot of dreams. Like, anymore. One, because 4 days a week I work really early. I drug myself to go to sleep. I take melatonin or drink valerian root, right? I'm always night-night. So I don't dream very often. And in the past few years, I haven't really dreamt a lot anyway. And when I do, it's usually horrifying things. And a lot of times that don't seem that far-fetched.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I open the door and we're in Disneyland and then there's like an octopus monster attacking it. You know what I mean? Somehow we're floating off into space. Like, it's not whimsical. It's not like a good time.
Okay.
So, like, a lot of my dreams they're often nightmares. If I have them. But one that happens regularly, and it could be a different place, but I'm always with some people and we're hiding. We're in a building, we're in the woods, we're somewhere hiding from somebody who's going to come get us and take us. And I don't know where we're going, I don't know who the people are that I'm with. Sometimes I do, sometimes it's like my friends or you guys or whatever, and we're just trying to get away. I don't know who's ever trying to get us, but it's somebody who clearly doesn't want us to still be in existence, right? Oh. This happens, and there have been times...
So it's the governor of Texas?
Honestly, right? Right. And so it feels like... And sometimes it's very realistic. Like, I'll be in, like, my grade school. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Well, that's horrifying in general because of the world we have. Or it'll be in, like, a house I know or something. But it's always running, trying to hide, being, like, sought out by somebody who, no matter what, will find us, you know? So it's always very scary. It's always... I don't know, it always feels like myself and whoever I'm with, we're, like, incapable of defending ourselves, or the other person is stronger. There's always, like, a power differential, you know? And, or we're, like, they have the upper hand because they know where we are, you know what I mean? They have the other people, or they have weapons, or whatever. So, I don't know what that's about, but constantly, like, running from a group of people.
For many, many, many years, when I would have bad dreams where something was chasing me, whether it was bullies at school or a monster or whatever, I had the ability to fly in my dreams. I would always just be like, bye, and I would just like take off and fly, and I'd be flying over the city or the ocean or wherever, you know, but just flying and carefree and like giving everybody the finger, fuck you, I'm flying, you can't get me, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
That has changed in my old age.
Okay.
Because now, it's like I go to fly, but I can't get as high off the ground, so people can still reach me.
No, I'm not.
And I'm all, what the hell? What happened to my... I flew too close to the sun and my wings melted. I don't know, like I'm Icarus. I was like...
Bitch.
I know. I was like, oh, what happened?
Yeah. I know. Well, and like, you know, this is a reoccurring nightmare for me all the time. If I'm awake or I'm asleep, and it has to do with water. Because I have such a deep thalassophobia, right? Like, I have a deep fear of the water. And not like... Yes, girl, I can walk in the water. I can swim. I can whatever. But like, the ocean scares the shit out of me. I think it's beautiful and powerful and magic. But... girl, it's beautiful and powerful and magic and will kill me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a fish, bitch. I don't belong in the water. But I don't know what's down there. I don't know what secrets it holds. I'm not trying to find out because there's just like random, you know, the thought of like treading water or looking down and seeing darkness freaks me out, or looking out and seeing it murky freaks me out. So I do often have dreams, of course. And this is, could just because I have such a fear of it, is I'm often in like a boat that is sinking, or I'm somehow trapped underwater, or I'm being drowned. Like something that is horrifying that has to do with water.
Sure.
That I wake up sweating, which is, I don't sweat normally, so to wake up being covered in sweat because I'm being murdered in my sleep is something that's really scary and fun.
Huh.
Odd, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always, it has to do with something. And that's so weird, though, because I'm also very drawn to water. Water, to me, is very beautiful and magical. And you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot to it that I do enjoy, but the power of water, I think, is very scary to me.
I think one of the weird things, especially about the ocean, is periodically they keep going, look what we've discovered in the ocean that nobody thought was here.
Could you stop it?
We never knew this existed. Or we thought this was gone for 1,000,000 years now, but look, here it is. And it's like...
could you not?
Really, you just found a squid or an octopus that's like 80 feet long. That's too much octopus.
I'm sorry, what? That's some big sushi.
Or we... Right? That's a whole
Right?
party worth of sushi.
Or there's
for a lot of
places like
people.
off some, I can't remember where exactly, but there's places in the ocean where it's all, shallow and the normal ocean, blah, blah. And then there's a fucking shelf and it just drops off into goddamn nothing. And I'm like, absolutely not, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, the thought of and there's pictures of people, underwater pictures of people sitting on the edge of it. And I'm like,
no.
Until some creature just is all, whoop, grabs you, snacks on you.
Well, and I was watching Kinley has started watching this program called, what is it called? Like, something bit me. I think we talked about that. But they're showing, and it's like animal bites where they've bit off someone or attacked them or whatever.
I hate it.
Well, this one was this girl who was attacked by a shark. And the shark, we've seen where, like, if the shark sees you lying on, like, a boogie board or a surfboard, they will think from below it looks like you're a seal. Because you have that shape and then just little flippers. Whatever. Well, they kept showing these aerial shots down in the water where you see people surfing and all these sharks just right beyond them. And it's like they can't see them because they're far enough out, but they're not very far away from them. And so I'm all, no. And when people tell me all the time, you should go to Hawaii where you can go snorkeling and whatever, I was like, no. First of all, Hawaii, lovely, beautiful. And doesn't belong to you white people, so stop colonizing. Anyway, but I don't like to sit in the sun because we've talked about that. Not good for your skin. B, I'm not going in the water where these creatures are going to be swimming right below me, and I have a little scuba mask so I can see them all. To me, that's worse than not seeing them. Is seeing them is like, oh God, no, thank you.
Yep.
But when we were in Florida,
nope. Already, it's a no.
I'm used to the Oregon coast.
Yeah,
grown up here, been there many, many, many times, and it's a slow slope into the ocean. Well, when we were in Fort Lauderdale, walked out in the ocean. First of all, it was felt like you were in a bathtub. It was just lovely, warm water. It was like, oh, this is nice. Walk, drop off. No, and I mean, I had only walked out to about my knees, and then the next step I took, I was up to my chest.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
No. But it was like, okay, well, this is different.
I could not.
But also being in warm water makes you have to pee more.
Oh my God. So what I'm hearing is you polluted the ocean with your urine.
I did not say that, but I will not deny it.
I am calling the animal control.
Animal control.
I don't know. Ecology people? I don't know. I'm trying to think of things.
I know.
Words are hard.
Oh,
that's also why, but growing up, swimming in bodies of water, lakes, rivers, country people, that's what we did. But because I am so tall and I've always been taller than my sisters and a lot of my cousins, if we're out treading water, I am deeper than you. Do you know what I mean? So we were like, oh, it feels good. And I'm like, I can feel effing cold spots with my feet. I'm out. Do you know what I mean? I can't touch the bottom and it's cold down there. I gotta go. I can't be in here, Yeah, and everyone's like, there's nothing. Tell me there's nothing.
You were mentioning that in your reoccurring nightmares where something's trying to get you, that sometimes you're at school. I used to have this reoccurring nightmare about school. And here's why. And this one, at least this dream made sense.
Okay.
Because, so my freshman year of high school, I showed up with a cast that went from my ankle to my hip because I had had knee surgery. So I showed up for PE class the first day. And I was all, darn it, I can't do this. And they're like, yeah, go to the office. They'll get you in another class. Well, and then I never took PE, even though it was required 1 year for high school. But no one ever made me do it.
Nope.
And I was like, why would I do this if I don't have to do it? Well, my whole senior year, I kept waiting for someone to go, you never took this credit, you're not going to graduate.
Yeah.
No one ever did. And then obviously I graduated, and the first thing I did when they handed me my diploma, and I know you city people can't relate to this because we actually got handed our real diplomas, is I opened that motherfucker up, made sure it was signed, made sure it was, had my name on it, and it had the signatures of the principal and the vice principal, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm good, I'm done. But for months, and actually years afterward, I would dream that somebody was getting a hold of me from high school and going, oh, girl, we just realized you didn't really graduate. And so we're going to take away your diploma.
It's fraudulent.
And you have to come back. Right? You are a fraud. You cannot graduate. Mind you,
Prison.
of course, I have my diploma, and in my 40 plus years since I graduated, one time has someone asked to actually physically see my diploma.
That's so funny.
And that was when I started beauty school. So once I realized, I think it was after I started beauty school, I didn't have that dream because no one ever asked to see it.
No one. Mm-mm.
And so I saw, I mean, I knew logically, I have my diploma, it is signed. Nobody wants me back.
No. Like, this bitch is
They
out.
didn't want me
Keep
there
her
when
out.
I was there.
We tried to get rid of her earlier.
So they certainly aren't going to call me in.
Exactly. What was I going to say? Oh, I do have a question. This is a very common question now with dreams. Because Marvel is trying to tackle this with their whole idea of multiverse, right?
Oh, okay.
And so I know that multiverse is complicated, but just imagine there's like a gajillion different us, right? In different worlds, make different decisions, do whatever. But, so, in the most recent Marvel movie, and this is not a spoiler by any means, but basically what you dream is just an alternate you. And it's not that it's not happening, like it's not just fake, but it's happening in like an alternate universe, right? It's actually happening, you're just getting like a window into seeing this other you's
Right.
life. And that to me made my head spin completely fucking out of control, because then I'm like, so there's just a million of me being fucking drowned somewhere, because that sounds like, I don't think Annika should exist. Or there's just constant universes of Annika being tracked by groups of people. That sounds like an actual nightmare.
Yeah.
And so, like, maybe I don't like it. You know what I mean?
But you said you had a question.
It wasn't really a question. It was just, I just think
So
that'd
you
be
lied.
funny.
There was no question.
There was no question. It's
All right,
just
then in that
interesting
case,
little tidbit.
we're gonna take a little.
Fuck you.
I want you to notice that this week, so far, I have pushed no wrong buttons.
Okay, I'm not going to applaud you for doing your job, okay?
Well, then I'll applaud myself right now.
Congratulations.
That time it was on purpose.
Yeah.
I know. So, no, that's fascinating, that idea.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I do too, right? It's gross.
Because, I mean, I've had some pretty bizarre dreams where I've done some pretty bizarre things, and I'm like, hey,
I've seen people on TikTok say, like, well, if that's true, like, I dream, my alternate self is, like, killing random species of things. Like, I'm just a murderer in, like, every other universe. Well, bitch, it's better than being the hunted, I suppose.
I suppose. I haven't seen the only multiverse thing I have seen of Marvel is the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I don't know, maybe because I'm old, maybe I just don't get it. I watch it and I'm like, wait, what? Who? How? And I remember when T was watching that show Once Upon a Time, they would be like, character, whoever, Snow White.
Yeah.
Here she is in this timeline, and here she is in this timeline, but here she is in... And I was all, wait, so is she dead? Is she bad? Is she what? I can't keep up. And he goes, well, in this timeline, she's doing this, but in this time, I'm like, it's too much. It's everything, everywhere, all at once.
100%. Then that's that movie that just came out, girl, that you should go see, because that helps explain it. But, I mean, timeline or the other realities, whatever, I just think of it more as like if this is us and other realities are just lined up, right?
Well, so then my question to you is, of the dreams that you remember that aren't nightmares, which one would you actually be like, that's kind of cool that my other me is doing some cool thing somewhere else?
That's like very, I mean, because I've had like the dreams of like where I could fly, or I had powers, or I could communicate with animals, which I think is actual dream of mine.
Right.
But I can't, I mean, I genuinely don't know. A lot of the dreams that I've had in the past number of years are dreams where I'm like in a forest by the ocean, chilling, relaxing.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like doing things that are not stressful. And so I don't know. That's why I'm like, this is just my brain being like, girl, your life is chaotic.
Girl, you gotta calm down.
Yeah, take a beat, girl, sleep in your dream, or whatever. But I mean, there's nothing really that I can think of. I mean, yes, it'd be cool to open my door and fucking Disneyland was outside, right? And that, you know what I mean? And I could like fly or snap my fingers and wherever, which have happened in dreams. But recently I have no idea, you know?
One of the things that's kind of always been a thing for me in my dreams is that in my dreams, I can go very quickly downstairs, which I can't do in real life because of my knees. Never have, even as a kid. But like, I can jump down several stairs. Like, I can jump from landing to landing. Yeah. And I think that really is because that my entire life has been so physically limited because of my bad knees and stuff. That in my dreams, I have no limitations. Yeah. And so that's cool. Yeah. You know? Yeah, yeah. But other than that, I mean, I don't think I've ever done anything that I'm like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I talk to a lot of dead people in my dreams. Okay, yeah. Like, a lot of my dead friends come to me in my dreams, and I mean, I don't mean like they're in actual visitations, but they're just there in my dreams, you know. Yeah,
that's interesting.
I think the one that, well, as I was trying to be lured into this cult the other night, and they weren't trying to lure me, they were literally just trying to steal me and put me in this cult with a group of people. We were in some building and trying to get out of the building, but the building is surrounded by these crazy people, whatever. You know who I'm with? Who? You know who would be the least helpful in that kind of crisis? Tell me. Holly Andrews.
I knew you were going to fucking say Holly Andrews. Oh my god.
Holly motherfucking Andrews. I can't. Because you know, all she's going to do is when the people come in and say, you have to join our cult, she's going to be like, well, can I bring my Barbies?
Yeah. She's going to ask a million questions. She's going to be like, but what do I get to do? Like, it's going to be her.
So when do we get to talk about me?
Right, exactly.
Because I have 400 Barbies, and I need to introduce you to all of them. And then I need to tell you their backstories.
And then we're going to pose them together. But right now, I mean, I'm going to do it, and you're going to tell me how good it is.
Right. So she would not be the one in a crisis situation.
Oh my god, fucking Holly Andrews.
I remember one time, I was at a party at Darcel's house. Okay. And it was, I think, 4th of July, one of those, or Labor Day weekend, one of those kind of things. And I'm there with my friend Jen, and Holly is sitting with me, and Holly, all Holly ever talked about was Holly. I mean, literally, it was like, so, me. Now, what do you think of me? Yeah. Did you love me as much as I love me? Did you like my number? I loved my number. I did a new number. Did you see my number? You know, whatever. Yeah. And my friend Jen says to her, Holly, do you ever talk about anything other than yourself? And Holly said, and I quote, I don't find anything else nearly as interesting. And she was not being ironic. You know, she was being dead serious.
I think that's hysterical.
I think it's weird because she was being honest. She was like, I don't find your life at all interesting, but mine, where I don't work, and I stay at home posing Barbies.
Oh, girl, let me tell you.
All right, but I have to share with you. I have to share with you that one of the things we found out, because I was collecting Barbies at the same time she was collecting Barbies, is that Barbies are made in, I think, 4 different places. Okay. And now I don't remember where this one was, but one of the Barbies, I swear to God, everyone, if you check the box, this particular maker, the one leg was just a little bit shorter than the other. And so it'd be like, oh, well, obviously she came from there. But Barbie also comes with a 1-800 number on it. And Holly would call them on the regular and go, you know, this Barbie should have come with this. No. She literally would. She would call them and go, now I just got the big hair Chrissy or whatever. Yeah. And, well, she came with a hairbrush, but she should have come with a comb. Yeah. Or she came with one pair of pink slides, and I think she really should have had a full...
Blue heels, yeah.
Whatever. All the time. Yeah. And so in my head, in my imagination... They had
a file.
They also had the little paddle, you know, like, and they would hold it up and be like, "She's on the phone, your turn." Yeah, you know, and everybody would draw straws as to who had to talk to Holly that week because that crazy bitch would literally be calling him, going, "You know, I like this new Barbie." Yeah, but where I think you made your mistake, like those
no
people answering
you. Okay,
but like the people answering the phone. Give a shit.
No.
I mean, they care about, I got my Barbie, but she was missing her head. Right. Or I got my Barbie and none of her accessories were there. Right. You know, okay, we'll send you out some new ones. Not like her dress is the wrong shade of pink.
Let me critique your Barbie to you about the people, and you people I'm talking to are not the ones who created it. You're just customer service. Right. I just have a couple memories with Holly that are right there. But one of my favorites is when I was very young and you lived in the house in Northeast Portland. And Holly lived upstairs, right? In the
yes,
right,
yes,
and
in the loft.
And she had a million Barbies, and I loved Barbies, and you always let me play with some and whatever. And she'd be like, yeah, come play with my Barbies. And I said, okay. I didn't realize at, 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old, that what that was going to entail for me. And so I'm like, because you walk in, they're all posed. They're all, out of their boxes, like, whatever, doing their things in their sets of each Barbie. And it's like, like, to me, I'm like, this is the holy fucking grail.
It's the Barbie section at FAO Schwartz.
And then she's like, okay. And she started from one end and just started to repose. And I'm like, oh, I want to play with this one. And she would take it and be like, no, honey, we repose it. And I'm like, what? Like, this is... You brought me up here to show me all your dolls, to repose them in front of me, and I can't touch it? Like, that sounds like fucking torture. And it was. But Holly Andrews was not a fan of children.
No.
I remember her telling me one time, well, honey, you wouldn't understand because you're a kid. And I said, excuse me? How dare you, you old hag? I was offended because she always was like, well, you wouldn't get it. You just a little baby.
I might. I just might get it.
You fucking whipple-ball-headed bitch. I'm gonna knock you out.
Oh. One night at my show...
Is this the tale from the
This will have to be my tale from the drag closet. I mean, one night at my show, there had been a show prior to mine, an earlier show, and so I came down, and there's all these people up in my dressing room. Mm-hmm. I'm all, why are these people in my dressing room? Well, my dressing room, as you may remember, was maybe 10 by 15,
maybe
pretty small.
Yeah, it wasn't very big.
Yeah, and there are 400 people in my dressing room, and Holly goes to the first person, and she's all, girl, did you see my number? I did a new number tonight, and I tried something new, and I did this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And then literally turned a quarter of an inch, went to the, girl, did you see my number? I did a new number tonight. Did you like it? I did something new. Girl, did you see my... By the time she got to person... Now, by the way, everyone in the room heard it when she said it to the first person.
Time, yeah.
Right. By the time she got to number 6, I was like, ah! Yeah. I said, Holly, my ears are bleeding. Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah, we all know.
And she was like, what? And I go, we all heard you.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, why don't you just say, I love me, what do you think of me?
Yeah.
Because we got it. You did something new. You did a new number. Right. We all saw it. It was fantastic. We all loved it. Everybody tipped you. Now shut up about it.
Congratulations.
It's not like you sang it. You lip-synced to a, whoo, girl. But I was just like, I was like, yes, we all got it. It was fantastic. Well, she got real mad.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was mean. And then she, when she usually did my show, and she was like, well, I'm going home. And I was like, wait, you're not going to do my show because you're mad at me? And she was like, yes, I'm going home. And I was like, isn't tonight the night your whole family's coming to see you? And she goes, yes, they're already upstairs. And I go, so because you're mad at me, you're going to leave your entire family upstairs. They've made a special trip down here to see you, but because you got your little feelings hurt by big old me and me, you're going to just leave. And she was like, that's right. So it's your fault that my family won't get... Oh, bitch, no. No, bitch, no. You need to grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Did she leave? Yes.
I'm about it.
She went up, she told her family she was leaving because she was mad and they'd have to come another time. And I was like, wait, what? Who... I think the normal person, this is where we get to social contract that we still haven't talked about.
Yeah, girl.
And narcissism, because that was the most narcissistic person I ever knew. Where normal people would be like, bitch, I'm mad at you, but my family's here to see me.
Yeah,
they ain't even here to see you. They don't care that it's your show.
Yeah,
they're here to see me. So F you, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do this new song that I just asked everybody in the room if they saw me do it. Because it was so fantastic. And they're gonna love me. I'm gonna be getting all the. That would have been my attitude.
Hell yeah.
I would have been all, bitch, they ain't even here to see you. They don't even like you. And after I talk to them about what a bitch you were to me, they really won't like you. They're gonna probably throw things at you on stage.
Yeah.
Whatever. That would have been my take on the thing. But she literally just got up and left.
Bye.
Bye, bitch. You was rude.
I love it.
You was
Did you over the microphone be like, Holly Andrews is not here because she is a pussy mouth motherfucker?
I did not say that because that was not a phrase I would have said.
Oh.
Because I didn't know that phrase. and I wasn't allowed to say the F word on the microphone because we were in church.
Because you were adults in a queer bar.
I know, which I always thought was so hilarious. And so the last show I ever did there, which was the night they closed, I said it 457 times. Because I was all, what are they going to do? Throw me out?
Yeah, you're going to fire me?
They're going to shut the bar down?
Yeah.
Oh, they did shut the bar down. Oh, yeah.
It's sad.
Whatever. That is just... But that just, to me, was so hilarious. So it is hilarious that she just randomly pops up in my dreams.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like, bitch, really?
Oh,
are you going to tell me about your Barbies? Why are you here?
Mm-hmm. She's not going to tell you about it. She's going to pose them for you.
Right. She'll just stand there in a classic Barbie pose with that stiff arm and the stiff hand, you know. One of the... I'm going to tell you another story because it popped. Holly Andrews. We used to do a whole podcast about that bitch. So...
Honest.
I went in for surgery many, many years ago, had my gallbladder removed. If you've ever had surgery, you know, when you're coming out of it, you're coming out of the anesthesia, you are like beyond groggy. Mm-hmm. You were just like, my eyelids are 50 pounds each, I can't open them up.
Right.
Whatever. Well, after I was done in recovery, they start wheeling me to my room, and the first person I see waiting for me is Miss Holly Andrews. Walking down the... I mean, she starts talking before she ever even gets to where I am.
No, bitch.
Yeah, because she's like, oh, girl, I came to see you. I brought some Barbies that we could play with while you're recovering. I collect them. I don't actually play with them.
She's like, well, you stupid enough
grown-ass
in this moment.
She brings this Super Talk Barbie.
Oh, my God.
You remember Super Talk Barbie.
Yeah.
Super Talk Barbie. On her box it says, she says 100,000 things. It's because she had all these pre-programmed things, but she would say them in different order.
Yeah.
My favorite, of course, is the one that we always use to joke about, which is math is hard. Let's go shopping.
I do that. I say that at work. I say it at work when I don't do math right.
But so she's standing over my head while they're wheeling me to my room, pushing the button on this Barbie over and over and over. So she's all, can we go shopping with Christy today? Because she my girl. No, you know, whatever. Right. It was like, and then the next one, because each one was like a 3-segmented sentence. Yeah. I hate your guts. You talk too much. You fucking bitch. I was like, oh my God, can you take you? And so I had to say, can you take yourself and your Super Talk Barbie home? Yeah. Because I am exhausted because I just got out of fucking surgery.
I just picture you like out of it in a bed being pushed, and she's all, girl, and just pushing my, hey girl, let's go shopping, like just over and over.
Can we go to the mall to buy a dog? You know, it's like, well, if you're buying a dog at the mall, I don't want to know you.
Right.
But
Holly Andrews thinking it's the greatest thing ever. Like,
it's just over and over and over, and I was like, get out. Get out.
Oh my God, I'm crying. That's so funny to me. Fucking Holly.
Oh, you know, the thing is, as crazy as she was, I loved her. What's funny to me is, you know, drag names.
Yeah.
You know, can be so crazy. Her real name was Andrew Hall, and she's flipped it around to be Holly Andrews.
I mean, bitch,
it's clever, though.
You got it.
You know
what I'm saying?
I mean, you know, kudos, girl. Snaps to you.
For you.
The very first time I saw her was I was at a church at MCC.
I was like, you're at church?
I was at queer church.
Yeah.
I was at a church and they were doing a fundraiser.
Yeah.
And there was 3 drag queens in the show. It was her and this awful queen whose name I can't remember, who later tried to unalive herself in the apartment building that I was managing, so I had to clean up that mess.
I hate that.
And Sister Paula.
Oh, Sister Paula, yeah.
And Sister Paula, well, that's a whole other show entirely.
Yes, girl.
But that was how I met Holly Andrews. And that is actually where we're going to have to leave it for today, because we've reached our time. And we actually did talk about our topic, which I did. You know, and then tangents are topics. So
girl.
We got off,
but
we came back to it. Here, we'll end it up with a dream. I had a dream. No, yeah. All right. So listen, if you are joining us for the very first time, thank you. Welcome. Like, share, and subscribe. Download your favorite podcasting app so you can listen to us uninterrupted or interrupted, and you always go right back to where you left off. And if you liked what you heard today or you didn't, send us a message at itwouldseemasthough@gmail.com. We got some mail last week from your friend Heather Rachel.
From my friend Heather Rachel. I love you so much, Heather Rachel. She'll be listening right after this is posted.
Hi, Heather Rachel.
I know.
I know. Thanks for the pictures and the email. Loved it.
She texted me the next day.
You sent me proof that you could be in a church without burning it down.
I know. That was shocking.
I know. But yeah, it didn't burst into flames or anything.
No, right? And I love that she started it with, I'm drunk. I'm like, yes, bitch, you are. Oh,
Dear readers,
Uh-huh.
I'm drunk.
I love it. I'm about it.
Well, at least you're self-evident, you're self-aware. Good for you.
Yeah.
Start with I'm
Just
drunk.
killing it.
And end with, Annika went to church and it didn't burn.
Exactly. I think that's like
a
a really good story. I appreciate it, Rach.
So,
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Heather Rachel. But for the rest of you, send us mail. Send us comments, questions, complaints. We don't care.
Send
it
us a
all.
story. Send us some hate mail.
But come back next week.
Do it.
And listen to more It Would Seem As Though.
Bye.
Bye.
It would seem as though.